Hello. Hello.
So yeah, no, I have the redeem for. Oh, do you like the notification thingy? Actually, let me move over here. So normally I have like the notification thingy for when I'm doing art and for when there's like a game that has like a save feature where it's like because some games don't have an auto save feature where basically it's going, oh hey, Grant, save your work, which isn't necessary for this game because there's a checkpoint system and it does the save between missions and what have you. So I didn't want to accidentally incentivize people to spending like their channel points on that. So yeah. Alrighty, I have posted in all the different places that I am excuse me, allowed to say I am, online and streaming and such. Hang on, someone said Big Booba. I know exactly what I'm adding into there. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. This is important. This is important. If someone is gonna say Big Booba in my thingamadoogie, I am going
Suck a
to.
lemon.
You go suck a lemon. I have to respond. And then ding, copy. Nope, wrong one. Copy link. And then it's FX Twitter. And then ding dong this one. FX Twitter for the. There we go. You could automate that with StreamerBot, have it periodically check what game you're streaming and enable the disable redeems. That requires me being smart and putting a lot of work in, okay, Morse? That requires me being smart. I am not a smart zebra, okay? And like, what's more is like, check this shit out. This is what I wasted my time on Sunday. Was I've created a fun little like button because it turns out Vignon has a cycling button, which is what I should have been using for like, for my alternative things of like trying to toggle things off and on. So I have like a menu for all the different shirt designs I have, and then a prompt. Sorry, not a prompt, a prop section. And the prop section allows me to pick like something to put on my head. So, and rather than going through all that menu to get to something to put on my head and such, I've made it so that there's a little thingy-majiggy that I can press to not have something on my head, and then, wha-bam! I got something on my head. Look at that! I got my sci-fi hat on. I got my sci-fi helmet.
Emotional damage.
Emotional. So yeah, and it can be other things too. It could be like a birthday hat. It can be the Master Chief helmet. It can be Sansa's hat. It could be Sora's hair. It can be a cowboy hat. It could be the conductor's hat. But we're gonna go with the sci-fi pilot helmet. Like, look at that! And then, like, if I don't want to wear it, then, and I don't want to, like, you know, fuck around back to default, I then just click on this thingy-majiggy, and look, it's gone. Aren't I fucking clever? This is what I spent my time doing, Morse. Is there any of my moderators in chat? Like, can we give Morse a shout-out, please? Because I am busy, doing my, where is it? GrantZeebs the gun thing. I need to get into this fight. Alright, so all of you things are over here. I'm gonna slap you over here. Thank you, Jason, for the shout out to Morse. I greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, minimize this, close that, so I won't have the thingy-majiggy tempting me as I am going through the thingamadoogs, and let's get this game running. And I also need to plug in my controller because I still have, okay, that tail should be fixed by now. I don't know why that tail is not doing its job. I don't know why the tail has not fixed itself. It should have fixed itself by this point, but it hasn't. And it's rather disruptive. All right, here we go. I am bound. You bound your shirt to your stream deck and then you promptly never switch them out. I wish I could do that, but here's the problem is there isn't a way in Vignon, and I'm not too sure of the CS coding to do this with like VC avatars or anything like that, where I can tell it to like do a WebSocket command and tell it, oh, hey, you know, I want you to change to this shirt. Oh, no, wait, no, never mind. I want you to change to that shirt. I have not yet done... Also, I'm waiting on the thingamadiggy to, like, show up. System. Pad. There we go. Borderless window. Do you guys see it? Oh, wait, no, I know why you don't see it. It's because I never swapped back from Goose Goose Duck to, like, just capturing any random source. Hang on a second. Capture any full screen application. And now if I go back to here, I click continue. Your setup is very unique. Props to you. I wish I could do a unique setup, but I can't. The best I can do is just using Vignon and doing my best. Alrighty, so I have grinded a little bit offline just so then that way I have more money to, you know, be able to do this kind of, like, have more options available for me when I want to like use other kinds of thingamadoogs. And I've not purchased any new I have purchased new legs. Like, I got these guys, but I like the moving around nonsense, and I've not made myself lightweight for the reverse joints. And then, actually, I think I was going over to... It wasn't the tool arm. It was these guys. So I want to stick to that. And then, so the orbiter is the cheap one, and this is the better one. There's nothing new on the helmet. I can go to some more, like, shooty, like, pew-pew! I can go to more pew kind of, things. Or, let's see, this is second generation, first generation. Okay, so BST G1, Gen 2, and then these are booster... Okay, these are probably, like, the weakest boosters. And then there's these ones which don't have a lot of elevation, but they have a shit ton of side to side, which I'm gonna go for these ones, because hopefully that should be good. And then... So that's better for the close range. That's not much better, but is like a lot lighter. And then we've got our generator here, which can give us... Okay, so that's a lot weaker on the capacity, the recharge, and the supply. And then this overburdens us, because it's a massive fucking generator. So that's a double, I guess, and then this is just a single. And then we're using a salt thingy. Alrighty, sortie, missions. We've entered chapter 2. So this is gonna be fun. Also, helmet time.
Here's the request from Balaam Industries.
Alrighty.
Go suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon.
They want you to carry out an advanced survey of the central ice field.
Whether unique means good is still up for debate. That's fair enough, but I feel like in the realm of VTubing and such like that, if it's unique as in it provides some detail that is unique to your stream and is not, you know, detrimental to your stream, I think the unique is in the good.
Level of grid 086.
All right.
You could use it to launch your AC to the ice field. Grid 086 is occupied by the dozers, outlaws who treat coral like a drug.
Ooh. That's not great.
It's also the territory of a belligerent group of arms dealers who call themselves RAD.
Oh.
Be prepared for a perilous journey. I'll be here to support you, Raven.
Alright, so we're getting...
Cures 1221 paid me to say go Lemon suck.
Thank you, Lemony Snicket.
Let me handle getting us into the grid.
Alrighty. So, right now we got, like, our Buzz Lightyear looking ass going in there. So, I'll probably come up with, like, a different color scheme at some point. Who knows? Don't ask me when. I will try my best. How's everyone's, day been so far, if you mind me asking, though? Color me curious.
Infiltration to grid 086. Creating backdoor into system.
Alright.
Deactivating lock on vertical catapult. Connecting steam cylinders. Launching.
Oh, I don't remember having to do this much amount of work to use the vertical lifts, but ooh. Alright.
Alright, Raven.
Alright.
Let's get to work, shall we?
You're definitely existing? That's fair enough. Existing is probably like the most people can ask for some days. I can understand that. Alright, I'm gonna push this keyboard just a little bit, just so then that way... Alright, hands.
I've sent you the marker data.
Here we go.
Let's head toward the elevator going to the upper level.
Oh, you mother... There we go. I'd color you curious, but you're already colored like Buzz Lightyear. Good one. Alright, here we go. So far, so good. No, like, major damage.
2 repair kits remaining.
Who's this tourist? You think you can just waltz straight in here? Hope you're watching, boss. Leave it to Invincible Rummy to show our guest a good time.
Marina registration found. AC identified as Matt Stone.
Oh, Jesus. And he's got, like, a...
Last.
Me and Mad Stuff can't be beat! You're no ordinary tourist!
Got him.
No! Mad Stuff!
That wasn't too hard.
AC destroyed.
After dealing with, like, the great filter earlier, this is a nice, like, turnaround of, like, just being a bit more of a tourist.
RAD loves a good welcome party. Come on in, and let's get acquainted.
How curious.
And once again, I am using
Manual for Raven.
the wrong buttons for doing my
Repair
scan.
kit remaining.
Because I keep, like, using the repair kit. But thankfully, I'm not getting, like... I'm not graded on my first attempt through this shit, so...
Woman from that broadcast. That was Carla, leader of RAD, a formidable dozer faction. She joined them 3 years ago, bringing with her a crew of junk wizards and hackers. Within half a year, she seized total control and greatly expanded their operations.
Oh. Where is that? Okay, it's coming up there. Oh, there you are. Oop. Alright, reload that real quick. How's the robot, Shinji? The robot is good, Ripper. How are you? Welcome. Okay, why would they... Yep, okay. Go. Probably didn't need to go through all that, but, you know, it's fun. Alright, where's the... Oh, Jesus! There you are. Nice. Fox! Yeah, it's Ripper! Can we get a shout out for Ripper? Also, what I forgot to check what Morse was up to earlier. I think it said something. I'm guessing code. Yum. Yum. Ding. Alright, and then access.
Just waiting, tourist. Told you we love a good party.
Those are weird fuckers.
AP at 50%.
Well, you're no slouch, are you?
Alrighty. I don't even remember what I was doing on stream last Thursday. It was a mess. Oh no. A messy, scuffy stream, was it? Alright, can I? Yep, I can. Alright, reload that. There we go. Ow!
kits remaining.
Dude just like crept up on me, the fucker. Alright, note to self, use the scan a little more often.
Left shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 50%.
Joy.
Right hand ammunition at 50%.
Can't get your help these days, can you? Would have been cheaper to just hire you instead.
You're attaching more finger bones. Oh, okay. No, that's pretty cool. I have not been doing too much in regards to the you know, the efforts of improving my 3D whatsamahoozy skills. It's not been getting much better yet. I tried doing like sculpting without doing blocking, which was a terrible idea. Oop. Go. I wonder what the advantage is of... Nice! Alright, so one slap is good enough to get rid of one of those. Good to know. But yeah. I'm hoping this Wednesday I'll have like a little bit more, what's the word? Sort of commitment to the 3D thingamadiggy. It's kind of hard, like, trying to do 3D once a week right now, though. You know, like, it's kind of getting, you know, I feel like I'm sort of pulling in creative juices that I do not have for that week, and I'm doing it, and I'm grabbing from like the next week. It feels like a little bit.
Tread carefully.
Okay, I probably could have done that too. All right, reload that. There we go.
Nearly forgot your fireworks.
Oop. Art dead. Is that what it is? Oh. Darn. I was hoping I wouldn't be in that already. It's hard to be creative on demand, I get you. Yeah. Because there is a desire to, like...
Would have been cheaper to just hire you instead.
There was definitely, like, a desire for a while to do a, ding, ding, ding. There was definitely a desire to, like, learn enough of the 3D, because, like, I have the dream, like, Morse, I have the dream of being able to do the 3D art that's, like, like, you know, the low poly stuff that, Bolster and you've got, like, I have the desire of, like, because I don't know why, like, just game optimized models are kind of, like, the jam that I want to have. Alright, reload that. There we go. Oh, nice. I feel you. You watched Avoid X for a few tips, but the model was done by Birdtooth Studio. I managed to get Birdtooth's low poly Z into OOT, but with some rigging issues. It's super cool to see it running on a real N64. Your motivation levels are really high right now because of it. Hey, that's pretty good. So yeah, so I've got a little bit of modeling experience right now. The experience I do not have is like sculpting, rigging, or weight paint. I'm not really that good texture-wise, but slowly but surely, I feel like I will, like, get the handle of it. Hello. There we go. Hi there, Bone. Welcome to the stream. 59% is pretty good. Alright, T.
Picking up multiple entities. Tread carefully.
There we are.
Oh, you noticed the fireworks I left for you. You're a smart cookie, aren't you?
Nice. I'm glad that worked. Oop, Jesus. Okay, so he's a big boy. Oh, he's a big boy, I see.
Interesting. Turns out tourist is a cut above the rest.
Darn it. I forgot angles.
Get out of the robot way.
Woo! I'm not getting out of the robot. I just did good with the robot.
You've made your point.
I just did good with it, okay?
It's just not worth the losses. Come on, I'll let you through. Up along now.
I do not believe her. I'm kind of hoping to do the same stuff with my PS1 era level things, which had triangle counts you could actually count by hand if you tried. Oh, you know what's a... There's an account that I've been seeing popping up on my Twitter because, like, I still go through, like, that For You section where it's, like, a mixture of followers and like, you know, people they think, oh, we think you want to see this. Granted, it's filled with a lot of, like, bot meme accounts and such like that, but one of the, what's this? Oh, meaties. Alright, so this is obviously a checkpoint. But, one of the, Bolster stuff. Yes, so Bolster I feel like is a very big name for the low poly stuff because they're responsible for the PSX Bloodborne and for the Bloodborne cart that they're working on as well. But there's this other user, I can't remember their name on Twitter, but they're doing gun models and they do like really low poly count, and I think the way they're doing it is they're doing like the high detailed like polygon for the gun, but then they're doing a retopo of the gun, so then that way it's like a really low count. And when they show you like the wireframe of the gun, like it looks like they've worked really hard to make it as low numbered as they could. Stop throwing farts at me, Code. Alright, here we go.
Too bad that this is goodbye.
Oh my god, you
The
kidding
Dozers
me?
are certainly living up to their reputation.
Okay.
Those grinder arms can easily destroy what you see. Be careful.
Oop.
AP at 30%.
Oh, what the...
2 repair kits remaining.
Oh boy. Okay, what is the thingy-madiggy that I should be dealing with? Because a lot of it is armor.
AP at 30%.
Okay.
No repair kits remaining.
Jesus.
Go suck a lemon.
You go suck 11. This is a weird ass fight. Okay, so I think I need to like get it into the small hole there. Cause yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be unless. Yeah, no, that's doing like a lot of what's-in-whoosies. Oh, Jesus. Unless, is that doing a lot of damage there? Oh yeah, there's no immunity frames.
Not so sharp after all.
Putting big things into small holes. I try. I'm gonna blast so much processing. Can handle a 5,000 triangle model in a normal game, so we use bump maps to make a 500 seem like it's... Yeah, that. Alright, thank you for the Fs. Alright. I don't know if the blade is gonna help me here. I'm gonna try the grenade. That might help me. Swap from you. Plasma would overburden me. Let's see. Is there anything that's... Alright, the medium range would be greatly reduced. But let's see how we go with the short range. There's no I-frames. There are just F-frames. Yep. Oh, I didn't think of... Okay, here we go. And once again, I am... Well... Let's take this as a practice run.
Finished already?
That was a practice run. Hi there, Benru. Good morning, Mark. You joined, so now I can spy on him for me. Ah, thank you. I'm already part of his thank you for the 10 bits. I barely heard that. All right, let's try that again. So they run at me, and I guess the thing I need to do is do this.
So it was a trap. The dozers are certainly living up to it.
Ow, ow, fuck you. And then they do that.
Those grinder arms can easily destroy you, see. Be careful.
Oh.
The red thing really is fun.
Oh. So yeah, so, cause like, most of it is armor, but I think those are like actual hits. There we go. So now we do the big hits in there. And then...
Nice. I heard you were good.
Oh, Jesus.
Cleaner's going to have the last laugh.
Its behavioral pattern has changed. Watch out.
Okay, hang on.
2 repair kits remaining.
Come on, give me an opening, goddamn you. Just regularly hitting armor. Oop, Jesus. Somehow I dodged that.
AP at 50%.
Ow. So that's an insta-kill then. Also, welcome back, what's-a-mahoozies. Who's come back? Jack Wrathful, get in its face, you got this. Noted. Alright, here we go. You lost 150 game library back in 2007 because Valve basically said, we can't be bothered. We recovered your account but revoked every license. Ow. Alright. Oh, actually, maybe. All right, so rather than missile launchers, maybe we go with the vertical ones because they'll shoot upwards and then they'll shoot down and will, you know, hit the what's-a-mahoozy thing. And then instead of those legs, we'll go with these with a... We'll stick to the short range, but we'll go for a much heavier battery to do it for us. And we'll go with this burst here. All right, let's see how we go with this one. Need to grab this later on? Yeah. Make sure you tag your new AC as Tar.
So it was a trap. The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation.
Ow. Fuck.
It's some kind of autonomous demolition. Rather well equipped.
Okay, I do not have... That was a practice round. That was a practice make a frat frame with small guns.
What a letdown.
These aren't small guns. Ow, thank you. I'll get this, don't you worry. Nice warm-up. Yes, exactly. It was a warm-up round. Just wants to be a centaur with fat booba. Look, I will not deny such things.
So it was a trap. The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation.
Ow. Here we go.
It's some kind of autonomous demolition.
There we go.
A rather well equipped one. Those grinder arms can easily destroy what they see. Be careful.
Ow.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Hey, thank you, Benru, for being my biggest fan.
AP at
No, that was
30%.
armor. Missed that one, too. Ow, ow.
Well, finished already?
Yeah, I don't think the tar legs fit me.
What a letdown.
Don't think they work for me. Power play, yeah. All right, let's move back to. All right. So first and foremost, this not as great as that's the red. This is the Abydus. Swap over to the smaller engine. Am I okay to run like this? Oh, apparently I am okay to run like this. Am I still using... Yep, so that's the vertical. Plasma would overburden me. Meanwhile, I only have... I feel like the railgun, like this laser cannon is still useful. The grenade launcher is going to be a powerful hitter. I don't know how I feel about the thingamajiggies. Hi there, Wild Saber. Alright. Robot centipede, robot centipede. Machine gun might be the better one, so then that way I can do like a little more, like if I have like better gun discipline, then I'll be able to like do... Nope.
The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation.
Ow.
It's some kind of autonomous demolition mech. Rather well equipped one. Those grinder arms can easily destroy what they see. Be careful.
Hi there. Oh my god, Gore, hi!
30%.
Hi, how's it going? I'm getting my ass kicked with like this giant mecha who's like using a sweeper bot or something. It's an evil Roomba. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Gotta go. Love you, Grant. Lighting. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Oh, Jesus. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Grant. I'm a variety hang on a sec. Let me get my helmet off.
AP at 50%.
Hi, welcome to the stream. My name is Grant. I am a variety like streamer playing all kinds of what's-a-mahoozy games, and Monday night is when I'm going through my backlog, and the backlog is currently Armored Core 6. I am having an okay. I am I am not having a great day. All right. Come on. Nope, don't nut in my mouth.
Well, finished already? Not so sharp after all?
Yay, Zeebs artist just started on my PNG tuber. Hey, congratulations, Wild Saber, on getting some PNG art. We got Flu the Kenku that's giving me the Kenku Bard, just being like, Hama kisser. I don't kiss boys. Are you a boy kisser? Alrighty, and then... Alright. Dun dun dun. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, helmet time back on. Alright, here we go, chat. I'm gonna be that quiet autist now.
The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation. It's some kind of autonomous demolition mech. Rather well equipped one. Those grinder arms can easily destroy the city. Be careful.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Could you, like, stop being up in my grill like this? Fucking humping me now. Great, thank you. And ruining my...
Well, finished already? Not so sharp after all.
Note to self, lava is hot. Zeebs doesn't kiss boys except that one time at band camp. Lol. If Slinky was in this chat, they'd just be like, you kiss boys. I don't think you would say that. I didn't think you would say don't nut in my mouth. Why not? Because I don't want people nutting in my mouth. Men, burly men. So that's okay, so Flu kisses big bulking burly men. Alright, here we go. Let's try this again. Alright, note to self. It will not reward me for that kind of... It will not reward me for trying to be that kind of,
Sharp after all?
mecha.
What a letdown.
Grant's kisses meant to our ladies.
Oh, yeah, let's go with ladies. What in the world, Flu? What is... Alright, hang on. Assembly. Okay, I can go for the plasma this time. Why could I go for... Oh, it's because this thing had, like, no... what's-a-mahoozy thing. Yeah, so that's a grenade launcher. I feel like this is still a good one, because it does explosive damage. And then... Yeah, so left arm is the explosive damage stuff. Hey, Zeebs, use the quad leg hover mode. It helps from what I've seen for this. I don't have, like, a lot of... Like, I think I know what you're saying. I don't have, like, the right sort of, what's-a-mahoozy? What's the word? Here we go.
The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation.
There we are.
It's some kind of autonomous demolition mech.
Oh, god damn you.
Those grinder arms can easily destroy what they see. Be careful.
AP at 30.
Oh, finished
That was a very fast one.
Not so sharp.
Alright, let's try Wild Saber's thingy-majiggy. I don't normally condone backseating, but let's be real. This is a From Software game. I'm going to get backseated. I'm going to get backseated about this kind of game, so let's give it a fucking try. Because here's the honest part, is that, Dink generator, I need to swap over to, like, this fucking honky-tonky, otherwise I get an EN shortfall with nearly all of them, and that's just to get the legs running. I don't get the opportunity for, you know, being able to use, like, a lot of different kind of... Let's see, so if I stick to you... Oh, I can stick to this guy. All right, I'm gonna give this Gatling gun a try. Let's see how we go. Because I think I know what you're, like, I know what you're thinking I should do, Wild Saber. It's like, I should, you know...
So it was a trap. The dozers are certainly living up to their reputation.
It's this, right?
Autonomous demolition method. Rather well equipped one. Those grinder arms can easily destroy the seat. Be careful.
Nice. I heard you were good. But the cleaner's going to have the last laugh.
Its behavioral pattern has changed. Watch out.
Let's see. Oh, oh shit. I forgot I'm gonna need it instantly. Charge! There we go.
AP at 50%.
Damn it.
AP at 30%. Light hand ammunition at 50%.
Here we go. I need a recharge.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Come on, repair. And here we are. There we go. That's what... That wasn't very fun. Like, I get that made the fight so much easier, but my god, I'm not a fan of, like, the quad doing the hover thingy-majiggy. They're not fast.
Enough, tourist. It's been miserable knowing you, but I guess playing nice is a smart choice here.
It's so cheesy because it can barely hit you in the air. It is quite cheesy. It feels like the same sort of cheesy as when you're dealing with like the giant mining ship or whatever like that, and it has the giant laser, and you really just position yourself so that anytime the laser tries to hit you, it's hitting into itself and therefore blocking all of its hits. I get quite a bit of progress, however. That's nice. A detonating bazooka. Nice. Dinner time for code. Fair enough. So yeah.
No new method.
It felt like a bit of a cheese, to be real with you.
Raven, we've received a job from RAD's leader, Carla.
Oh.
This could just be another one of her traps. But after the impression you left on her last time, I think it's unlikely.
I don't
Let's
believe
take a
you.
look
I
at
feel
the
like it's still a trap. I'll need to... Hang on a second. AC... AC data. Save this as a Mark III. Just so then that way we have that available for us. And then we swap back over to this fella. And then...
Go suck a lemon.
Alright, so we got the Iridium Grenade Launcher. What is the Iridium Grenade Launcher like? Burnt Sonic, thank you for the follow. That's a fair... That packs quite a punch. And then that's the Napalm. And then over on the right side, we've got the pile bunker. Obliterating it through sheer physical force. Charge to prime the firing hammer, enabling attacks that are enhanced by explosive damage. Okay. So that's with the one hit. And then, yep, that's when it does that. Gatling guns are always fun. Alright, detonating bazooka. Special bazooka developed by All Mine. Creates a chain of explosions on contact that layer on impact damage. Compared to standard explosive weapons, this weapon has notably high direct hit. Okay, that didn't really help a lot, but cool. Laser shotgun, plasma, pulse, and a missile launcher. Meanwhile, on the right shoulder, I feel like the right shoulder might need more kind of weapons. We got the active homing. What is the plasma missile launcher like? Okay, that's a maybe. And then that's this one. Active homing, I feel like, is a... And then that's the vertical one. That one's cool. Alright, let's have a look at, oh, so many more squats. Hex pack up. Thank you. Alrighty, this looks cool. That looks... let's see. System recovery is at 92 seconds. Scan distance is a lot shorter. The only thing that has a longer scan distance is this one, but then this has a... Hey! Alright, what about the body here? Booster efficiency? Okay, so Balaam is all about the... Balaam is all about, like, the heavy hitting and such like that. Schneider or what have you, they're more interested in movement, I believe. Because, like, yeah, look how... So firearm specialization is a lot higher with a little bit better in the melee. And then we get overburdened with these guys. So that's Balaam. And then we've got tanks and bipedals. I'm gonna grab the tank tracks just so I have that at the ready. I'm going to need that fella, and I don't have a lot of options for, what's-a-mahoozy, also, assembly. Dun, 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 dun. So that's the detonating bazooka. Alright. Swapping... I'm gonna swap back over to the burst rifle. Let's see. So that's the laser blade. Stable laser control enables powerful energy-based... Oh yeah, that's a lot higher of a hit. But the thing is this allows for 2 strikes, and then... Oh, but if I charge this up, then it does like a spinning thing, which might be better. The weight is a lot higher, though. I'll give this a try again. And then... keep to the cannon. And then let's swap from the missile launcher to the plasma. I don't really have any. And then this is the old mine stuff. Bipedal from Arrakis. That's the bipedal. Pteropod. And there's our tank. The tank just looks ridiculous. Alright. Let's see, is there like a better... Alright, so this will give us a better boost. Let's see, so that's a better close range. This has a slightly better long range. Let's see. This model was developed, has established itself as a true missile, reducing missile lock-on. Oh, so this Okay, maybe I should go to there then? And then... can I go to these kinds of boosters? I'll stick to those kinds of boosters. I definitely need more... I need more money. That is something I am coming to terms with. Operation Wall Climber with a pending thingamadoog. I got an S rank for the combat logs. Investigate the balls arsenal number 2. Attack watch point. Infiltrate the grid. I'll deal with yous later. Let's try the faction thing. Beep boop.
Ah.
Beep boop
my
beep boop.
favorite little
Beep boop
tourist.
beep boop. I'm her
About
favorite.
my promise to take you up top. I need a little help cleaning up first.
Reuse and develop. Oh.
You see, a certain someone smashed up all my defense hardware.
Ugh.
Now I've got rival dozers muscling in. It's the Junker Coyotes. We never did get on. Always sniffing around and snapping at our heels. They're dull company, tourist.
I wonder why we're given this kind of job.
One thing, though. They're using RADMTs, hot from the black market. They might be a pack of dumb animals, but at least they know quality workmanship.
Because it's your tech, I'm guessing?
Anyway, you know the score. You made this mess, now you get to clean it up. Well, technically, I'm asking you to make a whole new mess.
But it's a mess of not your
Whatever.
tech, but
You know
someone
what to do.
else's.
Now get out there.
Let's give this a go, shall we?
Your handler didn't authorize this sortie either. But we shouldn't miss this chance. I'll support you.
I wonder what our handler thinks of me, like, going into all these... This is like the second mission now where the handler has not, like, given us the go-ahead for this.
Main system.
Let's see how we go.
Activating combat mode.
Let's get rolling, tourist. Get out there and bag me some coyotes.
They're already moving in, Raven. Let's handle them.
Alrighty, here we go.
Hey, we got an AC! Never seen one like that before. Must have got a sweet deal from Carla.
Send in the punchers and kickers!
Custom teas made by our own engineers. When did those hit the black market?
They look like mouse gardens. With enhanced firepower and maneuverability.
Oh, Jesus fucking
AP
Christ.
at 50%.
They are fucking rushing me. What the hell is up with that?
Wasn't part of the plan!
Can't stand the sound of a whining coyote. Finish him off, tourist. Clean as a whistle. Moving on, tourist.
Tragic.
Enemies detected. I'll mark their location.
Figured you could handle this on your own, so I called off my MTs. About time we got some maintenance anyhow.
Look, fella, we got company! And it ain't dumbass Rummy. That one of RAD's newbies?
We'll blow them sky high!
This one is on you for taking out Rummy. He would have kept watch at least.
AP at 30%. AP at 50%.
Oh, they've definitely able to put a number on me.
Confirmed. Coyote Force eliminated.
Oh boy.
Looks like it's over. Guess I was right to pick you for the job. And now, it's my turn to help you.
Alright, so that was a quick mission. That was like literally less than 5 minutes. I thought it was going to go on for like a little bit longer than that. Damn. Alright. Lay it on me.
Guess you noticed that job from Balaam and decided to take it. I see you're heading for the cargo launcher now. Not a bad idea, I'll give you that. Keep heading for the ice field. I'll take care of some loose ends in the meantime.
Okay. Alrighty, and then this so the ocean crossing intercontinental cargo launcher found deep within the outer shell of grid 86. We are going to need a better battery, I imagine. Let's see.
Chat has come together and thinks you should do 30 squats during the break.
Alrighty. Let's see. Slightly higher EN capacity. Weight's almost double. Oh, this one's not too bad. Although this one is like a weight is doubled for... And then that gives us the EN shortfall. That one's overburdened. Alright, so we probably do have the best... We probably do have the best generator we could probably go for in terms of balance. Big stretch! Alrighty, chat, here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Thank you for the 30 squats, chat. Thank you for the 30 squats. Alrighty. Yeah, like... Oh, the EN output is reduced. That's not good. That was a... Let's see, can I do... No, I can't. Alright, let's go for this chapter conclusion. Chapter 2 was fairly short compared to the first one.
Through grid 086 toward the intercontinental cargo launcher. As promised, Carla has agreed to serve as our guide. I'm not sure how safe it is to trust a dozer. But if we turn her down, we turn her knowledge down as well.
Cool logo.
Raven. Cinder. Carla's nickname? That's what the Rubiconians call survivors of the fires of Ibis. But if the fires happened half a century ago... well, it could just be some dozer inside joke.
50 years probably isn't like forever ago. People can survive 50 years. Whether or not it's 50 years and she's, you know, done things is another question entirely.
Enjoying the routine.
So, who knows? Oh boy.
Main system, activating combat mode.
Here we go, tourist. I'll lead the way, just as promised. But after this, you owe me one.
Alright, let's get moving.
This elevator goes straight to the top of the grid, the outer shell. Sadly, that's beyond my territory. I mean, once you're out there, the PCA satellites see everything. A few of the stupider dozers took it as a challenge, went out to prove themselves. You can guess what happened.
We've arrived at the top, sending you new marker data. It's as Carla said. At this altitude, we're within firing range of the PCA's satellites.
Intruder detected in forbidden sector. Terminating target. Terminated.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, nowhere to hide now.
Brute force it is, then.
Don't get fried.
That's an extremely powerful laser. Be careful, Raven.
Never thought I'd see an AC dancing through the PCA's lasers like that. Nice moves, tourist.
Intruder has escaped satellite range.
Alright.
Raising threat level.
We're not far from the cargo launcher.
Intruder detected near closed facility.
Might as well clean up while you're here, tourist. Never did care for the upstairs neighbors. That's what I like to see. Let's get the cargo launcher ready.
There. Access the container.
Oh, it's all the way over there. Alright, here we go. And we're probably gonna get a boss if there's gonna be like a supply container thing going off. I'm hesitant.
Now, if you could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. Found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by That's that then.
Okay, that's why they gave me the supply there. Because I barely did a dent in it. I feel like I do thumbs up a lot. I feel like I'm just like, yep. That's how it goes. That's how this evening goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. Hang on a second. Ding dong bing and then ding and then ding. Alrighty. Let's try this again.
just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected.
There he is.
That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. Fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
1 repair kit remaining. AP at 30%.
Okay.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Believes us that's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
Okay, so I can't just shoot at the center because like that center was mentioned to have a lot of ricochet. So this useless. Let's go with you. You should be fairly all right. I don't really have any good, so laser's gonna stick with you. You're gonna be all right. So that's my arms. I don't really have a better body. I get an Ian shortfall with you. My boost speed is ruined because of you. Ian short... I just don't have the... Hang on. Alright, swapping from this to this overburdens me, but it gives me a much better... Let's see, Ian shortfall... Yeah, the only way is like if I go for this guy here, but... Ian shortfall with you, Ian shortfall with you... Ian shortfall with you... Ian shortfall... I might need to go with this guy here. Boosters removed, tank type legs use internal boosters, which means I can't use any of those. But this means is we can now go for... Let's see. Yep, so there isn't anything that does better in... Because everything is better in the melee, but that's just good overall. Let's have a look. So that's our plasma, that's our vertical. I think we're gonna stick to plasma. Let's see. You got more rounds. Alright, let's go with you, and then stick to you. Alright, let's see how we go with a tank.
Now, if you just step outside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Another raid? Hi there, Lucid Gears! Oh my gosh, I'm not doing too well.
One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
Okay, so the... Oh, Jesus.
At 50%. AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
One repair kit remaining. No AP at 50%. Light hand ammunition at 30%.
Oh, that... I do not have a lot of ammo with that one.
AP at 30%.
Nope.
Ignition at 10%.
No.
That's that then.
Hi there, Lucid Gear. Welcome to the stream. How was Armored Core 6 on your end? I'm at the conclusion of Chapter 2 right now, and I'm getting my ass kicked. I am... Hang on. This is surprisingly done fairly well, like armor-wise and such, which is very helpful. This I don't know how I feel about. What's the plasma? This one might be a better weapon to go for compared to this. Let's see how we go. The laser lance is brutal against that thing you're fighting. I have no clue if I have the laser lance, I'm gonna be real with you.
Now,
I'd have to like get out and go into the shop and such to figure that out.
Enemy detected.
You've been struggling with the final boss and... Oh, Jesus, I wasn't paying attention.
That machine.
great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
Okay, amazingly enough, I've already...
This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
AP at 50%.
Not doing too great on the whole, you know, actually doing impact to them and such like that. While... Oh, Jesus.
AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
It's taking damage. Keep it up, Raven.
No repair kits remaining.
Oh, Jesus. I thought by going underneath it I would have, like, avoided that stab, but... Oh, boy. This is probably going to be one of those... I would not consider this a filter. Not yet, at least. Let's have a look. So... don't know if that's gonna help. Laser sword, I don't remember where or when you earn the lance. I wouldn't be surprised if it's only available after the mission. It just makes it so much easier. Maybe, but if it's laser lance, let's see how we go with... Let's see, so that's laser handgun, laser shotgun would be the right hand. I've got the detonating bazooka. I'm gonna give that a try because that was something like unlocked with logs and what have you. And it seems to mention like really great direct damage, so I'm gonna give that one a try. Alrighty, so do the initial scan, and then...
Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon.
It's annoying that it's able to get me so quickly with that.
Flow response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
Because that's the thing, it's like so much ricochet damage from here. And...
The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on the...
Okay, so he gets 2 hits in.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
You go suck a lemon. Yeah, look at that. Like, I've already, like, knocked him out, like, 2 or 3 times, and or 2 times so far, and he has been able to knock me out, like, a whole... Oh, Jesus. Nope. Come on.
That's that then.
No. Looks like a giant rocket on the left arm. Alright, so... Is it a Kate? It jumps around. It's a spider. Is it like the earlier mission where there's just something above? Tank type leg unit removed. A booster unit has been in your possession has been equipped. And I'm on an EN shortfall when I do that, which means I have to go to the bigger one. I'm gonna keep to... Let's see, so that's a... Upward... That was a shitty upward thrust. I'm gonna go to this one, because this is just, you know, a better sort of thrust. Stick to the old mind, thing. Alright, let's give... Alright, let's see. How fast is the reload is the question. Direct hit adjustment is a lot higher. It has a much heavier guidance and lock-on range. 0.4 seconds. Fewer rounds. Shorter reload time, though, which is good. Let's try with the dual system. Huh. Alright, we're gonna stick to that. Let's give this a try. Have you been finding the hidden logs and getting battle logs? I've not been doing a lot of backtracking. I have, like, the reason I was able to get, like, that shooting lance thingy-diggy was because of the whole, you know, getting the battle log done and what have you. So, like, it does... Alright, here we go, and let's see what you're like from above. Oh, Jesus.
Found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral smoke from the generator.
Alright. Oh, Jesus.
No ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. But their dirty work survived.
AP at 50%.
Oh, Jesus.
30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Brings a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
One repair kit remaining. AP at 30%. No repair kits remaining.
There we go. Alright, so there is an advantage to shooting from above, from the looks of it. I just don't get, like, a lot of opportunity to... Don't.
Left shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 30%. Right shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Alrighty, so... Oh, Jesus, come on.
That's that.
Alright, so... The Tetra thingy-majiggy is helpful in this one. The fight is much more helpful in the second... The flight is more helpful in the second part. Wait, there's a second part? I've not even gotten through the first part, then. I've been stuck at the second part. I've been stuck in the first part all this time. Fuck. Oh, this is that thing. Thanks a lot. This is joyous, because here's the thing, is most of my weapons aren't even doing, like, a good dent. And also, look at this. Like, look how much energy is used when I...
Great. We found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator.
Go.
This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Yeah, like, look at that. He's barely getting hit. Like, it is very important that I do the fucking what's-mahoozy, like, hitting him and such like that. Like, I'm not even doing... It's only one health bar, yes, but as you can see, I'm barely getting, like, the first health bar out of the way. Oh, Jesus.
No repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Jesus.
That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
He's gonna do a ton more damage when you stagger it. Yeah, but... Actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Hang on. Because... Give me a second. Because I'm using... Because that's my right hand. My left hand would have the laser blade, which will be very powerful. So, yeah. And I'm not usually using, like, the left hand that often anyway. So...
If you could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine.
That's that then.
And I fucked up on that one.
Just can't beat the Institute.
Make sure you charge that one. Will do. Will do. God, going through Dark Souls 1, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, and a little bit of Sekiro and a little bit of Dark Souls 2 does not prep me for this at all. I just hit my head on a wall and think that's somehow my day.
Step inside.
Wait.
Alright.
Enemy detected.
Alright.
That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
Damn it, I used the left trigger. Oh, come on, no. Ow, you mother...
Response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist.
Yunk.
Fires
And I missed that entirely.
That dirty work survived. That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the
You've been playing these games since 2001? Oh, goodness. You're probably watching me right now, and you're just sort of like, what the fuck is this zebra doing? Does he not know how to play Armored Core? Does he not know how the targeting system works? That's how I imagine people who are fans of From Software games watch me as I play, and I'm just sort of like, oh, you know what? The Get Good, like, lesson from Software does not work really well, but I get better advice in Armored Core.
Wait. Enemy detected.
Alright, and then don't...
That machine.
3, 2, 1.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon.
Oh!
Now what's it
Bam!
doing here?
Bam! That did fucking nothing.
Response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. But their dirty work survived.
AP
That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
They changed a ton of the controls on this one, so vets and newcomers have an equal chance. I also heard like from, what's the name, the YouTuber that does like actual Dark Souls lore explanation and shit. It's like Viva Vici or something like that. They've like mentioned that like one of the hidden mechanics in here is that if you use the lock-on system, so if I'm pressing like the right, so if I press into like the right thumbstick to do like an auto lock thing, all my shot, like there's a better chance of my shots getting hit in, which is a good thing, but I actually take a little nerf to the damage. So if I'm able to just move the camera and get it onto my target and then do the firing and such like that, there's a less likelihood of me being able to get my shots, but they do a lot more damage. Alrighty. So what happens if I change from laser to pulse, I wonder? Because, yeah, I'm not making a dent into that fucker. Interesting, I was wondering why you weren't using the lock. Yeah, I was trying to get as much damage as I could.
You could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected.
So...
That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
Coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work, that's that then.
Oh, I can't hide behind the oil tanker.
The Institute.
I was wondering why you weren't using the lock. So, yeah. Alrighty. Let's try this again. I'll take it back.
Now, if you could
This is
step
this
inside.
is a filter.
Enemy detected.
This is a filter, boss.
That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful.
Is there stuff that like does more damage to coral-based shit, I wonder?
Scientist, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
Okay, I'm doing a little more damage now. Oh, Jesus! Ow. And I forgot to heal.
Just can't beat the Institute.
Oh boy. Alright, I'm gonna... Because, like, the first bit is actually easy and such like that. I can get to that, however. I need to have a look at... Let's see, can damage on thingy, on close range, explosive damage, compact grenade launcher, napalm, limiting the maneuverability of ground-based. Maybe the pile driver would be a good one, or pile bunker.
Suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon. And then there's the detonating bazooka, which I already have on the other hand. Grenade launcher, napalm, laser, shotgun, plasma, pulse, and missile. Oh, you were talking about this thing. The pile bunker. So yeah, because... Yeah, that one does... It does about the same amount of damage as the laser, but it's explosive melee damage, which might be good. Let's see. So Songbird, Split, Active Homing. I'm trying to think what was the thing that was like because this game has done like things of being like, oh, this recently unlocked item would be very useful on like the next thingy. And I'm trying to think whether it was like maybe was it the plasma missile launcher that they like introduced of like, hey, this would probably be a good one. My God, there's so many fucking bipedals. What's this one? Specialized for long distance cruising. Maximizing assault boost, thrust, and energy efficiency to provide excellent while rapidly closing in on targets from a long range. Okay, that might be a good... That might be a good thingy-madiggy. So, I need to purchase that. Alright, let's have a look. So that's complete, that's complete, that's complete. Wall climber is pending. Alright, hang on a second. So, AC data... Save that as the 4, swap over to our default-ish. C4621. Look at all these guys that I cannot use. Alright. So yeah, so I've got... So we're gonna have a look around.
Your objective is to take the liberation...
Get some money from this. Look around a little bit more, see if we can try and get the battle log more filled out, and we'll see how we go. We'll see how we do.
Main system, activating combat mode.
Combat mode?
Commence mission.
I shouldn't be like this. Alright.
We'll start by clearing the way for Arquebus. Take out the Gatling cannons protecting the city, and the Baus Tetrapod MT further in. There's heavy fire coming from up top. 621. Keep an eye out for cover.
Let's see. Excuse I have never tried going this way. Alright, this is interesting. Why is it letting me go, like, so far? Oh, wait, no, here's the border. I was wondering, like, how far was it willing to let me, like, turn around it, like, you know, go the long way around and shit. Oh, Jesus. Nice.
You'll never climb the walls, Corporation dog!
Coral, abide with Rubicon!
And I did that with no aim whatsoever. Oh, hello, you. So, there's uncompleted battle logs here. My main build is a laser rifle, energy sword, 2 plasma missiles, and it's extremely fast. I feel like speed has always been the key with, like, from software games. I have not yet seen a game where speed has not been like the key. Like, I know strength builds exist in Elden Ring where it's just like, excuse me while I bonk. I love playing the bonk build, but Elden Ring doesn't give you, like, millions of different ways to do the bonk build. You have, like, 3 ways to do the bonk build. The big bonk for the magic, everyone uses the same one. So it's always the same, like, fucking bonks in magic and melee, and then it's just a dozen different ways of doing the speed build. Ow, fuck you.
AP at 50%.
Yunk.
We're under attack! They're in the city!
It's just 1 AC.
Oop.
They're mocking us.
Oop. Alrighty. Alright, so they're up on that wall there. Nothing here. Target there.
We stand as one! Die, mercenary!
Could you, like, you know, be a little more, you know, stationary, please?
Busy defense squad. There's an AC behind us.
Another one!
There we go.
Bow's tetrapod MT eliminated. That significantly reduces the threat in the city. Access the bulkhead and break into the wall.
Oh, hello.
AP at 50%.
There we go. That's another thing. Oh, hello. The fuck is you? G4's last words. Video recorded extracted from a wreck. An incomplete message sent from one of the members of Red Guns to another, apparently just before death. I'm telling you, man, you gotta give Michigan a chance. He's different from the suits at HQ. Look, I know he's an asshole, but he's looking out for us, you know? Almost like we've got a family here. Man, if there's anyone who deserves punching out, it's the freaks who sent us on this suicide mission. You picked a good day to go AWOL. Okay, so he sent this to Iguyazu. Interesting. Alrighty. Oop. Alright, so that's the limit of the thingy-madoog. Oop, there we go. Alright, more battle log acquired. Damn it, missed that entirely. Surprise! Gotta get rid of the artillery in case there's a thingy. There we go. Am I missing anything around here? Oop. Oh, the other floor. That's it. Here we go. There. Is there some way where it can tell me, like, how far into the log I've gone in this mission? The older games were about the medium builds because the NPCs had an unfair
Emotional
advantage.
damage.
Pretty much always faster. That changed with AC4. In that game, you pilot a Next, not an AC. I have no clue what a Next is. Alrighty. The fuck is you?
AP at 50%. AP at 30%. No repair kits remaining.
Are those guys gonna move at all? Would be nice if they did. Oop. Alright, I think that's everything. A better AC. Hi there, Cyan. Welcome to the stream. Twice the size of the AC and way faster. That doesn't sound physically possible, okay? That does not sound physically possible. Being twice the size and, you know, a lot faster. If you're increasing your volume by, like, twice, you're cubing the amount of weight you have to deal with. There is, like... In a game that's, like, really wanting me to be, you know, like, really headstrong into, like, one kind of, like, the math and the logistics issue, like, this game decides to be real dumb with me.
Do you read me? This is V4 Rusty. You're fast. Guess you're sharper than they'd say. I'll have to step up my own game. A numbered Vesper is an elite. But remember, even Balaam couldn't crack the wall. Don't count on him too much.
Anything around here? No. Alrighty, let's get moving.
Enemy attack! Can you send backup? We're taking too much fire!
AP at 50%.
Yeah, I'm using like a lot of resources on this thing. The size rests I've seen show the necks being much bigger. Bigger jets. Compared to AC5's AC, yeah, they're bigger, but they're about the size of AC6 AC. Yeah, because AC6 is like really fucking tall. Like, I think someone like did the math and they're like 10 people tall, which is an insane number of like this is an insane height. Where like even like the head unit here is even the head unit on this guy is the height of one person. It's like a real crazy sort of volume, but I feel like the unfortunate side of things is this is kind of upsetted me is that engineers have just come to the conclusion after like a lot of work, unless we come up with like unless there's like a newfound element that is like, you know, titanium tungsten kind of nonsense, but isn't a composite of that titanium or tungsten, there is no element alive where we can have a Gundam be at the volume of the Gundam. Like, this is just physically impossible for the fact that it's 10 meters tall or something like that. We'll never, like, just the speed we're asking it to be and all that kind of such, which is really upsetting that, like, you know, physicists have just, like, they've all just gone, not possible. They've just slapped their hands down on the paper and said, we did the math. There is no composite out there where we can do this at this scale. It's either going to rip itself apart or it's not going to move as quickly. Like, you're going to have the Gundam over in Japan that's in the Gundam Museum where it's, like, really effing slow, where it's just sort of like, click, 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 and a light show.
That's the Juggernaut, heavy mobile cannon. I wouldn't recommend taking it head on. It won't be able to keep up with Steel Haze. I'll distract it while you hit its blind spot.
Oh, I forgot about this fight.
Watch out, it's coming.
And once again, I forget the armor. Now comes the fun bit of the fight.
We've got enemy reinforcements incoming. If I don't intercept them, we're both toast. I hate to leave you like this, but you'll have to finish without me. He's gone. So much for our decoy.
Oh, Jesus, grenades. I forgot about them. Damn it. Oh, shit.
AP at 50%.
Come on. There we go. Come on. Oh, Jesus. Oh no! I got stuck! That's not good. I had an There we go.
AP at 30%. Left shoulder ammunition.
Woo! There was a lot of screw ups there, and what's more is I probably could have like respect instead of doing my like, because this is like quote unquote my standard, where I've got the rockets on the left, the laser cannon on the right, blade, and just a normal like pew 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 pew. So I could have done that. I could have done that a lot better, quite frankly. I probably should have grabbed like plasma missile launcher instead, so then that way it would do like area of effect attack even when I was facing forward. Like, look at that. That's a D. I can do better than a D. All right, so I've grabbed 3 of the bronze from there. Also, hi there, Bruiser. How goes the armored core? I've hit another filter. I got to the end of chapter 2, and there's a boss that is doing a lot of damage. So I'm gonna... So I went to get this. And let's see. So this does armor, generator output adjustment. This is a much more efficient EN load. This one is... This is the trunk and Defang's stout tree, slender arms philosophy. Defensive foundation with heavy sturdy armor. And then... What's this? Light core by something or rather. And then this was...
1221 paid me to say Grant got a D. You.
Is that the one with the truck ton of missiles? No, 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 no. That's chapter 1. This is something else. All right. This one is like that's a moderate improvement over everything else. So hang on a second. So let's... All right. Keep to the cannon. We're going to give this pile driver a try. And swap over to the plasma thingy-madoogies. Alright, so that's recycle. Oh no, there's an overburden on that one. So that's reverse joint. That's the tetrapod. Actually, tetrapod might be useful there. And then there's an EN shortage there, but that's okay. This one has... Let's have a look. So this is medium range nonsense, which is kind of okay. Actually, yeah, let's keep to the medium range, and then let's change our generator over to the... Yeah, there's an EN shortage on most of them. RIT. Let's try Operation Wall Climb again. Oh, I didn't pay attention. Did it say whether or not... Hang on a second. I can probably check if I just go to my stream. If I'm quick enough. Ding, dong, habam. Clip it. Like, did it... I'll check it. Never mind. Too late now. Not worth doing. think I'm stuck on the one Grant is doing as well. So chapter 1 is where you have like the girdle of missiles and shit. Chapter 2 is you've got like a coral thing happening.
We'll start by clearing the way for Arquebus.
Alrighty, here we go.
Take out the Gatling cannons protecting the city, and the Baus Tetrapod MT further in. There's heavy fire coming from up top. 621, keep an eye out for cover.
Oh, it has a big explosive area of effect. That's not great.
You'll never climb the wall, Corporation dog! Coral, abide with Rubicon!
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get the locking in. There we go.
AP at 50%.
There we go. Oop.
Gatling cannons destroyed. The friendly MT squad will take care of the city.
Go.
You take care of the Baus Tetrapod MT 621.
Forged in ash, we stand as one!
Ow.
2 repair kits remaining.
Oh, what the? I forgot I wasn't using my normal.
AP at 50%.
And I need to be, like, really close to it.
City defense front. There's an AC behind us.
Another one!
AP at 30%. AP at
Corporate dog.
Baus Tetrapod MT eliminated. That significantly reduces the threat in the city. Access the bulkhead and break into the wall.
Alrighty, let's be quick about this. Well, it's nearly 6 a.m. I should really get to bed. Have a fun stream. Thank you very much, Lucid. I have certainly hit like a quote-unquote wall, so I'm gonna need to like get good, especially like with practice with like this tetrapod method.
This is V4 Rusty. You're fast. Guess you're sharper than they'd say. I'll have to step up my own game. A numbered Vesper is an elite.
There we go.
But remember, even Balaam couldn't crack the wall. Don't count on him too much.
Cookie for Jason. Welcome back from dinner. How was it?
We're taking too much fire!
There we go. Cookie for furry cures. Alrighty, let's see how we go in this next mission.
There should be a lift nearby. The target is close.
So yeah. Kinda worse for wear right now. I'm not used to the tetrapod. It doesn't move quickly. There's 2 missions on chapter 3 you're having trouble with, and one of the fights in the arena as well. I've not had 2. I've had maybe 1 fight in the arena that I've had trouble with, but it wasn't like the end of the run for me or anything like that, like it is when I was going through like the end chapter 1, where I just felt like I was hitting a wall very quickly. But I was able to actually get through that boss in chapter 1 with not taking up like the majority of the stream, but it was like probably an hour perhaps it took me to get the groove of it and take it on. So yeah, with this one, gaining more money, so then that way I have like more things to like swap my nonsense with and such. All right, skip the intro.
That's the Juggernaut, a heavy mobile cannon. I wouldn't recommend taking it head on.
There we go.
With steel haze. I'll distract it while you hit its blind spot. Watch out, it's coming. Captain, we're both toast. Hate to leave you like this, but you'll have to finish without me. He's gone. So much for our
together and thinks you should do 10 squats during the break.
Alrighty then. What if you can do the story in co-op? You can't. They have a multiplayer function, but it's more for like competing against one another. It's not. They don't. There is no co-op. And besides, at most times that From Software does co-op, they buff the bosses and shit. So if I'm struggling with the boss on my own, like just on a pure damage issue and not like dodging issue, then it's like adding in another player is not gonna help. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oop. Was knocking my mic. Sorry about that, chat. Thank you for the 10 squats. I greatly appreciate it. Alrighty. Hang on, where am I in my thingy? Ding, dong, a bam. Refresh. 10 seconds to go. Alright, I'm gonna get a drink of water. Hang on a second, let me just open up this cap and get a sippies. It would make things fun. I feel like that's more because of the fact that we're playing games together and less of the, oh, the game is built for the co-op. That's my thought about like that. Because it's like, I would very much love to have fun with you, Code. Like, D&D night on Fridays is always fun. Oop. Please, just get your thingy. There we go. Stop going up against the wall, thank you.
AP at 50%.
Mississippi.
AP at 30%.
There we go. Alright, that took a lot of... I just mean in general, not just for streaming. Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. I get what you're putting down and such like that. It's just you know, Armored Core is not doing its co-op thing.
It seems he knew who
Didn't know you could co-op this game? You can't. As far as I know, you can't. There is not a co-op feature to this. Excuse me. Okay, this time it's a C rank. I normally try and get B's and A's, but, you know, this one was, like, a little bit better. So, we went from a D to a C. There was definitely, like, a lot of mistakes still, but I feel like that's just me being inept with, like, a tetrapod build. So, and the pile driver, like, if I can get a hit in with the pile driver, it does do quite a bit of damage. It's just, you know, I'm trying to get a hit in when I'm on a tetrapod of all things, which is not my favorable... This is not my favorable, build. Like, let's see, boost speed is a little bit... Like, if I could move a bit more, maybe, but... Let's see, specializes for initial thrust. Allows for extremely evasive perform... Okay, so maybe this thing? Actually, no, hang on a second. Here it is. So if I grab that... And then let's have a look at the booster. So we got this here. Okay, so this one has a slightly higher upwards thrust. And let's see, so 5.7, 6.6, 6.1. So this one would probably be just as good, if not better. Let's... Melee attack thrust, so it does more thrust into the melee attack. Doesn't do a lot of AB thrust itself. Boost speed, consumption, quick B, reload time. So that makes it to a second. Alright, so that one might be better. And then this here, 45, 80, and 26. Meanwhile, this does... Doesn't do much better. Ow. And then I've got the... I'm not using that very often. And then let's see, this does with manual locking on. Unlock the ability aiming, allowing for manual, but practical usage calls for expertise. Like this one, I'm not certain it will work in my favor. And I don't have any more OST chips, and I've already put a lot into the kinetic damage. My access speed... Oh... No. Alrighty. Let's try this ocean crossing again.
This will...
Let's see how we go with,
Go suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon. Let's see how we go with this build. Let's see how we go.
Here we go, tourist. I'll lead the way, just as promised. But after this, you owe me one.
Alright.
This elevator goes straight to the top of the grid, the outer shell. Sadly, that's beyond my territory. I mean, once you're out there, the PCA satellites see everything. A few of the stupider dozers took it as a challenge to prove themselves.
Excuse me.
You can guess what happened.
Alright, so our altitude is a little bit high.
We've arrived at the top, sending you new marker data. It's as Carla said. At this altitude, we're within firing range of the PCA's satellites.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
Intruder detected in Forbidden Sector. Terminating target.
be the PCA security system.
Oh. Didn't know you were there. Alright, so that's... Oh, ow. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I now know this for next time. I have like a little thingy-majiggy I can go underneath on. And then...
Well, nowhere to hide now.
Brute force it is then.
There we go.
Don't get fried. Nice moves, tourist.
Nice! Alrighty.
Intruder has escaped satellite range.
Alrighty, we're out of satellite range, which is good. We didn't get as many hits that time around as other times, which is good.
Near closed facility.
Might as well clean up while you're here, tourist. Never did care for the upstairs neighbors.
There we go.
That's what I like to see. Let's get the cargo launcher ready.
Nice.
There. Access the container.
Alright, let's do that quick repair. Let's get our thingy-majiggy. Where is the Becky let me smash? It's... No, it should be working. It should be exclamation point horny. Don't know why I wouldn't be bonk.
Now, if you could just step inside.
Wait.
Alrighty, let's see how we go.
That machine.
Great. We found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The
Damn
virus
it.
virus may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
One repair kit remaining.
Damn it.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over. That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
Thought it was bonk. Maybe it was, and I don't have it working. Maybe I can't hear it. So, that sucked. Alright, swap out a U. Let's see, linear rifle. Using charging increases, in turn increasing damage.
Becky, let's smash.
See? Although both of you decided to do it at the same time, which isn't as great. Alright, let's see how we do with the Gatling gun. Let's see how that rolls out. Grab the dual, stick to the plasma. This is as good as it's gonna... Actually, let's go for this one. Because we are staying, like, fairly close range and such, so we might be better off with that kind of firepower.
If you could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. We found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator. This is
And I was not even close.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The Fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
2 repair kits remaining. UP at 50%.
I don't know if that did a lot of work, but oh.
AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a C weapon out for someone to trip over.
At 30%. Like no repair kits remaining.
That's that then.
Oh, damn it.
Just can't beat the Institute.
Alright, so amazingly enough, the Gatling gun, if I'm able to get high enough and not do ricochet hits, it will actually be effective. I was honestly surprised it would work. Because it was actually like being able to do like, you know, peeling away impact damage and such. But I just wasn't getting like close enough afterwards to be able to do like the impact driver
Enemy
thing.
detected. That machine.
Let's see how we go.
Great. We found a C weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That's that then.
And I didn't do any heals when I was doing that. If you want me to tell you the weapons I use, let me know. I appreciate it, Bruiser. I've already had like 2 different kinds of backseats go off earlier. I understand this sort of a game, especially like has like some backseating, and it's like a lot more like the backseating in this game is a lot more helpful than the backseating in Dark Souls, let me tell you. Let the man cook. Yeah, exactly, let the man cook. I was able to get to the conclusion with this tetrapod thing. So, alright, here we go. Ding dong.
That machine.
Alright, so
Great. We found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
ow.
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
Damn it, I'm not getting hits in.
Scientist tourist.
The lock-on is not my friend in this regard. It's...
The dirty work survived.
AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
Ow.
Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
Besides, if you start backseating, Sash would kill you. She probably would. A lot of streamers don't like backseating unless they ask for it, because like, here's the thing, it's like the methodology with the whole backseating thing is, oh, I've played this before, let me tell you how to get to the conclusion. And it's like, some like, especially for first-time players such as myself, where I'm more often than not going to play the game one time, and like, I'm gonna play the game the one time. I'm probably not gonna play it again and what have you. The one time for me is because of the journey and the exploration and such. So if someone like sort of tells me, oh, like you're going through Mass Effect 3, well, be sure to leave Ashley. Be sure to pick whether you like Ashley or Caden, because one of them has to die. It's like, that one I'm not a huge, like, I'm probably not going to play Mass Effect 1 like I did on the Legendary Edition again, and is, you know, a bit of a dick move, because like now the journey for me is kind of ruined. And it's, I know people have done like science of like, oh, anticipation increases when you learn about the ending, but it's like, there's a difference between like a small spoiler about the ending versus, you know, an interruption to the journey. You added it as a rule on my chat. Yeah, I think I have like a no back... You can get a no backseating tag and what have you, but, you know... Oh, like, I don't I don't think I have it on my thingy-majiggy at the bottom, but it's one of those cases where it's like, I'm not enforcing the whole no backseating thing. Like, I'm not asking my moderators to, you know, be ready to, like, delete and time out peeps that are, like, saying, oh, have you thought about using this weapon? Have you thought about using the whatsamahoozies? Have you thought about using, like, the Giga Sucker, like, 2000? Why aren't you using the Mega Pounder 8? It's like, I don't have moderators that, you know, I'm not gonna tell my moderators to, you know, delete messages of that kind of resolve. I'm not a big... Oh my god, Jesus Christ, I'm getting hit so hard. This is not one of those games to play as a streamer unless you are actually good at this kind of game.
That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
Woo boy. Woo boy. So, and what's more is like, if I'm gonna want this spoiled for me, it's like gonna be like maybe in the next 5 or 10 deaths, I'm gonna be like, right, tell me how Vindi Vin Vici told me to play this mission for S rank or something crazy like that, because... And I've wasted my... There we go.
Great. Found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourists.
Like, you know, not be such a dick.
Fire's virus may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
2 repair kits remaining. At 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged.
That's that then.
Okay, why was he able to do 3 shots then? Because normally it's just like, pew, pew, not pew, pew, pew. Normally it's been 2. Why was that 3 then? God damn you. Alright, let's have a look at our assembly. Gatling gun, I appreciate you, but let's go for detonating bazooka. Let's go for high impact damages. Seems like this thing has 0 openings. It does a little... Hi there, Marcus Wolfie. Welcome to the stream. I am getting my ass kicked by another great filter. This fucking spider.
That machine.
Oh, Jesus.
Found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourists.
There we go.
The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
AP at 50%.
Damn it.
AP at 30%.
That's when it gets a little bit crazy, is when...
Focus on evasive action.
I'll use a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
And that's the second problem. It's like the pile driver I have is... Oh, Jesus.
That's that then.
I didn't even get it to halfway. So pretty much what to expect by a From Software title. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. There are so many people from like who are like From Software or AC veterans that are like, ah, yes, they've already finished this game. They've gone through all the chapters and such. Me, however, I have to get sieved through the filter every step of the way. I got filtered by the tutorial, I got filtered by chapter 1, and I'm now getting filtered by chapter 2. It is... oh my gosh, it's been boss runs.
Wait.
Each of these fucking chapters has been like a, ah yes, here you go with the boss run.
That machine.
Oop, come on, stay.
That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
And I wasn't able to...
Smells from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
2 repair kits remaining. AP at.
It's taking damage. Keep it up, Raven.
No repair kits remaining.
Come on, and bam, there we go. Oh, come on. Here we are. Here we are.
AP at 50%.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Oh, god damn you.
That's that then.
Ah, that's the second phase. It's a fucking pine cone. Look at that, that's a pine cone, if ever I saw one. Alrighty. I did a lot better that time, rather than like floating up and such like that, because my shoulder weapons will at least create elevation and such, and the explosive does a pretty decent hit. I don't think I'm doing any problem with like shooting explosive wise, like, so if I, yeah, it's doing a hit.
Great. We found a sea weapon.
Alright, here we go, and there we go.
One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral smells from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
2 repair kits remaining. AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on evasive action.
Leaves a sea weapon out for someone to trip over.
AP at 50%.
And here comes the fun bit.
It's taking off. No. This is RRT data. Can't get back to that workshop. Push back, tourist.
You can hit just as hard. Stay focused.
Oh, no, damn you. I'm getting to the second phase like a lot quicker this time because of high impact sort of weapons, which is nice.
Chat has come together and thinks you should do 10 squats during the break.
Alrighty, 10 more squats. Ooh, boy. Ah, big stretch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gotta do a very quick 10 squats. And while we're in a break, we're definitely gonna be... Oh, come on. Cable, move. There we go. And do the thing. There we go.
Now, if you could just step inside.
Alright, so then...
Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
It's taking damage. Keep it up, Raven.
And I wasted that pile driver. There we go. I didn't even use any of my repair kits and I got him down to the last third. I'm an idiot. Ah! Stupid! Gosh darn. Okay, but I'm doing it more consistently. I am succeeding more consistently. At least to like the point that I need to get to and such.
Now, if you could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived. That's that then.
Oh, I was...
You just can't beat the Institute.
Wasn't doing a really good job there. Alrighty. Wasn't doing a good job. That's... I got overconfident. But I'm very much of the thought that so long as I don't get greedy and trying to repair myself soon in like the first 2/3, then I should be better this time around.
Wait. Enemy detected.
This is it.
That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
A coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. The dirty work survived.
2 repair kits remaining. AP at 50%.
Watch out.
Now, this could be some good R&D data. Can't wait to get back to the workshop.
AP at 50%. AP.
That's that then.
Ah! I couldn't get back up off the ground. I couldn't get back up off the ground. It was... And it didn't get downed at any point when it was, like, thingy. I should have conserved my ammunition, like, a little bit more. And I was still using quite a bit of my repair to do that. Thank you for the hyper himbo. I greatly appreciate it. But I don't appreciate you stealing my shirt. I'm vulnerable. Alrighty, here we go.
That machine.
Great. We found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral disposal from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged.
Damn it.
Focus on the base of action.
That's that then. Guess you just can't beat the Institute.
That was 50% that time. Oh god, the aggression. The aggression from this thing.
Now, if you could just step inside.
Wait. Enemy detected. That machine.
Great. You found a sea weapon. That tourist is a sea spider. One of the Institute's relics left to haunt Rubicon. Now what's it doing here?
The coral response from the generator. This is no ordinary machine. Be careful, Raven.
That machine was created by a bunch of mad scientists, tourist. The fires of Ibis may have taken the Institute. Their dirty work survived.
It's taking damage. Keep it up, Raven.
2 repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. At 30%.
Raven, your AC is damaged. Focus on the base of action.
Why is a sea weapon out for someone to trip over? What the? It's taking off.
Another coral response. Watch out.
No. This could be some good R&D data. Can't wait to get back to the workshop.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
It's taken major damage.
Come on.
Smash it up, tourist.
AP at 30%.
Push back, tourist.
You can hit just as hard. Stay focused.
Come on. Yes!
The generator.
Yes! Oh, that was painful, but I got it done before the end of the stream. So it only took me 2.5 hours to get through a chapter. Oh boy.
For fuel.
That was quite the show, tourist.
Oof.
How about we get back on track?
And I had 1,500 remaining.
Launcher from here.
God damn. I swear, if this game decides to just throw me a haymaker of like, oh hey, something else wants to shoot at you, I'm not gonna be pleased.
Brace yourself.
Okay. There we go. Did it. Survived.
By the way, tourist. You're Walter's hound, right?
Do they know who Walter is?
Well, I guess a dog can't choose its master. But still, tough luck. I feel sorry for you. I really do.
What was wrong with Walter?
Oh, and one more thing. You know the cargo launcher's strictly for cargo, right?
Is that because we're about to get fucking blasted into the
No
ice?
one's ever used it to launch themselves before. At least not in one piece.
Oh boy. Well, there's a first for everything. Alrighty, let's see. Ooh, baby.
Hope your luck changes.
Eagles, I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. Oh boy. Alrighty, so what's with this?
Raven?
Yep, I'm here.
You see it too, don't you?
It's a whole lot of red. I don't know how else you're expecting me to describe. Oh, okay. The little cool.
Go suck a lemon.
Currents coursing across Rubicon.
That looks cool. I have no idea what that means, though. Once again, just
correct in his judgment.
once again, just
The coral.
not given all the information.
In this desolate place.
We're only into the second chapter for Recures. Like, how many chapters are here? Hang on a second. Let me have a double check. Armored Core 6 chapters. Let's have a look. How many Armored Core 6 missions? There are 59 spread across 5 chapters with 3 different endings depending on the decisions you make and not along the way. Not all of these missions can be locked the first time, with only 42 available on your first playthrough. Then a further 3 can be accessed via New Game Plus. Finally, 14 more can be found in New Game Plus, offering a combination of 17 additional. Good way to know that when you've unlocked it is when Stargazer achievement is earned. Okay, so there's 5 chapters to deal with. Nice. Well, good to know that we're under halfway.
Augmented Human C4621. Entering Standard Mode. 2 new messages.
Let's have a listen.
Looks like you've made it to the central ice field, 621. Good. I'm done tying up loose ends.
Okay.
Arquebus found their own way in and are ready to deploy survey squads. And it looks like Balaam's come running after you scoped out the place too. You know what's going to happen. Business as usual. But you can make it work for us.
Ow.
Registration number RB23. Call sign, Raven. Your records have been updated.
Hi, Jin. Welcome to the stream.
Virtual encounters are now available in the arena. These correspond to
Balaam versus Arquebus. Name a more iconic duo. Red versus blue. Unless, is it really that simple where Balaam is blue and Arquebus is red? Yay! Also, Avalon! Avalon!
Raven.
I defeated chapter 2! I dealt with the other filter! Holy fucking shit, that coral thingy-madoogie annoyed me.
Nest with no obvious clues about its purpose. From what I can tell, it's a special mercenary support program, encrypted and kept secret. I've installed a back door, so you'll have no trouble getting in as you please.
Nice. New parts are now available. Enter the Nest online battle simulator, where you can battle against other players in 1v1s or 3v3s online. Nice. Terrible idea. Woo, Ring, Vivi. Alright, let's see. So, this is the AP that I was able to succeed against the coral thingy-madiggy. I'm happy for you, but the whole game is a filter. Thanks, Avalon.
Aptitude evaluation.
Thanks, Avalon. It's just like, I'm proud of you, Grant, but it's Armored Core. You're not filtered yet.
Li Long. Call sign. Gun 3. Wu Hua Hai.
Hi, Li Long.
Commencing evaluation.
Alright, let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. Thank you for the boost. Oh, wait, I am not using that kind of weapon. Yes! Get fucked. Ow.
AP at 50%.
Oh, nope, mistimed that distance.
At 30%.
Nope, 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 nope. Yeah! 2,000.
Target destroyed. Concluding evaluation.
Yay, slowly but surely I'm getting through all the E's. E! Oh wait, it's the D! We're going through D. Excellent. Alrighty, next thingy-madiggies. Arena. 21D. Candle Ring. Oh my god, is this a reference to Elden Ring? Look at this fucking weeb coming up next.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program, number 21, rank D.
Oh my god, this guy's got grenades. Look,
Subject
Candle
PC.
Ring.
Candle Ring. Call sign, Ring Freddy. Commencing evaluation.
Alrighty.
Main system activating combat mode.
Oop. God, I can barely keep up with him.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Alrighty, I know what I'm doing with this guy. He keeps darting right past me and then turning back around. Let's... Alright, assembly. First and foremost, swapping from the pile driver to you. And then... let's go for you. Alright. Here we go. Hi there, Masonic. Welcome to the stream. We got like another 30 to 15 minutes left of streaming shit, so it's just gonna be me going through the arena and what have you. Alrighty.
Emotional, Dan.
Let's see.
50%.
Oh, what the fuck? What the...
AP at 30%.
Oh, he got me a lot faster then. Happy for you, but the whole... I'm still thinking about that line, Avalon. The whole game is a filter. Like, only the end of chapters are a filter. It's like an exam at the end of the What's Moosey. I've put a cooldown on quotes and voice lines on Masonic. I had a lot of people... I had a few people using them, like, mostly as, like, their only way of engagement. There we go.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh, he was close to dead. I swear he was. Also, what kind of tank is that? Also, this dude sucks in the story missions. Good to know, because he's got grenade launchers on the shoulders and then missile launchers on the whatsamahoozies. My god, my head is getting...
Main system activating.
All right, here we go. Let's just bomb rush him. Oh, what the? Why did my guy do that? Like, come on, he was right next to you. Again, right next to you. You don't need to do, like, the fucking... There we go!
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh, I shit you not, the legs he's got are modeled after a wheelchair. I can believe you on this one, Avalon. There isn't a suspension of disbelief on me listening to that. I very 100% believe you that this guy just decided, what if I was Charles Xavier with a gun?
Activating combat mode.
Here we go. Nice. I was hoping to push him against the wall for that one. Like that.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Woo! Alright, I think I, like, fucked up his, I think I fucked up his AI at that moment there, so all I did was just, like, like, just pushed him in a corner. Did it! Yay! Man, what a dick. Alrighty. VV... Okay, so this is Weapon 5 Hawkins? Yeah, 5th squad leader of the Vespers. This guy I feel like is a bit fast, so hang on a sec. AC data. Save you. Let's grab you for a quick moment. And then, alright, swap you to you. Swap you to the pile driver. Swap you to the vertical thingy-madoogies. Swap you to the plasma. Core. Okay, let's see. So arms would overburden me. And then FC. Let's see. 45 to 67, 54 to 26. Let's go with this one. What is a himbo? Ask Kronk. And then, let's see, how are we doing with generators? So we can go with the U. And then... Alright, lower thingy-madoog. Alrighty. Let's see how we go with this guy. Uses it as a V and Roman numerals. Pedantic stuff. Yeah, I remember, and there was like another weapons one that was killed on Operation Wall Climber or what have you. So, oh, this guy is a crawly thingy-madiggy. I thought he was a
Reconfig. Call sign V5.
I thought he was a two-legged. I didn't think he was a four-legged. Okay, this might be interesting. He might have a lot more stability than I do. Where the fuck? Oh, there he is. Oop, Jesus. I had a lot of good distance there. Oh, Jesus.
AP at 50%.
Oh, pile driver is not doing too good. And once again, I am... That's gun 4 Volta. Oh, okay. And then there was G5 had defected. Alrighty. So yeah, this is entirely different company. I realize now.
Main system activating combat mode.
Pointy stick when everyone else is using laser guns and such. Yeah, I get you. Alrighty, here we go. Oop. Oh, Jesus.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh. Yeah, he's charged. The fashion Reddit of this game is armor decor. Fair enough. Alright, let's change this around. So he's surprisingly fast, so let's go with a laser shotgun there. Let's see how we do this time around. Glad to see Avalon is having fun watching me struggle. But my god, this guy's very far away. The temptation of just going over to Gatling gun. Alrighty, and then 3, 2, 1. Ow. Thanks, dick. Oh, Jesus!
At 30%.
Oop. Oh! Alrighty. We might need to go for distance. I could fuck up with this. Hang on a second. Alright, let's go to toxic route. Let's use the laser blade like he does. Let's see how we go with the pulse gun. With the boom 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 thingy-madoogs.
Activating combat mode.
Shaq has been together and thinks you should do 10 squats during the break.
Did he? There he is. Oh, yes! Out fucking played.
50%.
Oh, you got me.
At 30%.
All right, let me do my 10 squats really quick while there's still an advertisement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Alrighty. Ding, a dong. Let's give this another try. This time, we're not gonna like rush in, okay? We're gonna
Activating combat mode.
We're gonna move our way in. You go suck a lemon.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Did it! Woo! You threw a bunch of memes on Telegram? I have a Discord. You can throw the thingy-majiggies into Discord. I have a memes channel and everything. Hang on a second. Where's the Discord button? Discord. There we go. Bam. See? Oh, it's not there because I don't have the bot pop up there. But yay! I got 20D. He's defeated. Alrighty, let's have a look at the time. It is 9 p.m. I need... Hang on a second. Dink, there we go. Quit. Save game and quit application. Yes. Start the music again. Swap on over to here. Take the helmet off. And say, that is it for tonight. Oh my god, my ears are a little hot with the... This is fake leather again, isn't it? Oh, I'm an idiot. I should really go... Like, I don't want to go for open back, because then, like, the music just blares through the headphones, and then, considering how close my mic is, time to find a target. I know exactly who we're going for. I didn't talk about, like... they did a tweet or something or rather that was like, oh god, I have this exact same thought, but now I have this exact same worry that they have this thing about me or something or rather. Like, it won't make any sense right now, but it is what it is. And any whoosies. So we're gonna go and raid into Kusaki Desu because they're wonderful DJ. They're right now playing Observation Duty 6 or something like that. I'm on Observation Duty 6. Yeah, they're on to the 6th one. We're gonna go raid into there and get in the mech. Oh, time to spook them. Spooky time after mech time. That is going to be our raid message, and I will be online again Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I'm going to try and go through some Blender 3D. I kind of want to revisit like sculpting and such, but a part of me feels like I might go back to What's-A-Mahuzi. I might go back to hard model stuff. I don't know yet for Wednesday. For all I know, I might even like just cancel that and change it to something else completely different. Who knows? I am maybe I'll be just chatting. I don't know. I definitely need to get some shit off my chest about 3D. But other than that, we're going to go right into Saki. And I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. Gore, if you're still here, thank you for the raid. Ludicity, I know you went to bed, but I just want to say in the VOD, thank you for the raid as well. Bersonic, thank you for the follow. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.